A church service in Obo, a town in the southeast corner of the Central African Republic, one of the world's least developed nations. On the face of it, all is well. But the people of Obo are taking up arms, frightened for the safety of themselves and their families. Over the past years, they've fallen prey to increasingly brutal attacks by armed groups. Desperate to defend themselves, they're using any weapons they can lay their hands on.
They attack us. They come to loot and kill. But at this very moment, some of our men are standing guard behind us, so they can't come and attack the people and the women.
Two years ago, a truce had been signed in the north of the country. But just a few months later, new violence broke out in the south, stirred up by armed groups, including the LRA, the Lord's Resistance Army. Since then, hundreds have been killed, entire regions terrorized. Many villagers have fled to the towns, trying to find a safe haven. This man has come back to the place where he last saw his wife.
This shoe belonged to my wife. Before the rebels, we had our fields, and we went hunting. We could raise money for getting clothes for ourselves and our children. But for the time being, it's difficult. I can't go hunting. I have no access to my fields. I can't sell my crops to get money.
SOROVO SAVATORIOPAL, along with his wife and 7 children, fled his village in 2007. Just weeks later, his wife and her sister were both murdered when they returned to their fields. He's been left to care for his children in a tiny makeshift shelter in a camp on the outskirts of Obo.
I do suffer a lot because I'm far from my place and belongings. Now, to support my kids, I collect firewood and I sell it to earn a bit of money so we can eat. Fortunately, some people have given us corn and we're eating it.
What we are seeing here is a total shortage of food and goods. The farmers can't access their fields. Hunters can't go into the bush to get fresh meat. And shopkeepers can't move around to bring back essential goods. We're stuck.
Supplies of seed and farm tools are a priority, so crop production can resume, along with trade in locally produced food and goods. Self-sufficiency is the ultimate goal. People in and around Obo have been getting emergency relief supplies from the ICRC and Central African Red Cross since 2009.
There are 2 categories of people around here. First, we have residents of Obo. Their main problem is accessing their fields. They feel insecure after the recent attacks. And then we also have displaced people who used to live in the villages around Obo. They were attacked, so they cannot go back to their villages and their fields. So they've all gathered in Obo. We need to bring in food and other items for them, because the roads are bad and insecurity is rampant.
SOROVO and his brother-in-law are desperate to plant their fields again. A successful harvest would return some food and maybe a little income. But they're still too frightened to move back home permanently.
I don't feel safe enough to go back to my place. Even if people started returning, I'd hesitate to follow them. My wife was killed here. For the time being, I have no control over my life. Only God knows my fate. Maybe the rebels will kill me just like my wife. I leave God to decide.
Women and girls are particularly vulnerable in this isolated and lawless area.
The rebels come and take women back into the bush with them. The women have to carry very heavy loads. They're tied up, and they don't have enough to eat. They can't wash themselves, and they're even raped.
Those who manage to escape often face a difficult homecoming.
My children and I have been rejected by my husband, but I found help from my brothers, so things are better for now.
What the people here really want is a chance of peace and a normal life again. But they're not ready to put down their homemade guns as long as the armed groups remain at large.